Hello, it's me, your girl, Allie B. And today I'm gonna tell you a story about my crush. So I was working on this project and I asked my crush to help me with it, and we were gonna meet up to work on it. Like 40% of me was only working on that project so I could spend more time with him, but don't tell him that. So we texted back and forth, we finally set a date, and we decided to meet at school. Fast forward to that day. I'm already at school, sitting there at a table waiting for him to stop by when I get a text message. And I'm just like, oh honey, you better not be standing me up right now. You are getting here, okay? But luckily I was wrong, and he was just asking if a friend of his, who we're gonna call Scott, can join us because he has to wait for his bus or something. And I was like, sure, I mean, I don't really care. So a couple minutes later, somebody comes up from behind me and taps me on the shoulder. I turn around and see these gorgeous big brown eyes staring at me. And all I was thinking was, Zooey mama! Zooey mama! Zooey mama! But a couple seconds after that, I noticed 3 guys standing behind him, kind of waiting. So I asked, who are those? So my crush was like, oh yeah, I told you Scott was coming too, right? So as a joke, I was like, are all 3 of you called Scott? Thinking I'm biggest comedian of the world. But nobody was laughing, and they were all just like, yeah, our names are all Scott. So I was like, you have 3 friends called Scott and they all have to wait for the bus at the same time? What? So instead of telling me that you have 3 friends waiting for the bus, you're just gonna tell me that one of them's coming because let's just pretend they're all the same person because they all have the same name? Is that what it was? And as far as I know, they weren't related. It's they were all just friends from the same class or whatever, stopping by to say hi, and I was like, what? So we started working on our project, and these other 3 guys just sitting at the same table are doing their stuff. I don't know, one guy was on his laptop doing homework, the other one was just on his phone the whole time, not even caring, and the third one wouldn't stop talking. He constantly had something to say. I don't know why, and I was not involved in the conversation whatsoever. So I was just feeling real great. It almost felt like all 4 of them were on a date, and I was just like, the 5th wheel. Is that even a thing? The 5th wheel? They just kept talking for the longest time. I was awkwardly trying to sneak my way into the conversation, but it wasn't working. And then eventually the had to leave because their bus was coming and we were finally alone. So we're both just on our laptop, doing our work. I kind of peek over sometimes because I'm creepy. Fast forward 10-15 minutes later, he suddenly starts talking and I'm like, what? Because it was literally a different language. I couldn't put it together. I was just like, what are you saying? And I just kind of stared at him for a while. So his family is from a different country. He does speak another language that I don't speak and understand, which is fine, but I'm just gonna pretend that his family's from Italy. So he's just sitting there babbling along in Italian, and I'm just like, what? I don't know why it took me so long, but I swear it took me a couple minutes to finally catch on that he was on the phone. He had his little headphones in and was talking on the speaker thingy, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. So he gets off the phone and is like, hey, that was my mom. I gotta go, sorry. And I was like, oh yeah, sure, that's fine, go ahead. So we packed up our stuff. We were walking out together, just having a great old conversation. He's actually done this a couple times where he forgets things. I was like, oh, so what'd you have in school today? Just because I was running out of ideas. And he legit had to think about it for 5 minutes and be like, oh, wait, what did I have in school today? And I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna be polite, give him some time. I don't know if that was just because he was wicked nervous or if he's actually that forgetful, but don't want to judge. Don't want to judge. So we finally got to the bikes where we were supposed to split up because our bikes weren't quite at the same spot, and we just kind of stood there for a while and kept talking, and I was like, woo! I mean, eventually he did have to leave because obviously his mom was waiting, but in the meantime another 20 minutes passed and I was just like, is your mom okay? Is she like what? But I thought it was kind of cute because I was just like, yeah, we're spending time together. Even though his mom called him to come home, he doesn't care. He's spending more time with me. So then in the end, when we wanted to leave, I was just in denial because I was like, we don't know each other that well, but we kind of know each other. So I was like, do we just wave? Do we just say goodbye? Do I hug you? And it kind of ended up going into a handshake. So it was a good solid handshake. Not really the ideal scenario, but okay, it's okay. I'll take it. I'll take it. I took the hand and I shook it. Once he turned around and wasn't looking, I kind of dashed to my bicycle because mine was further away from the exit. And I was like, maybe if I'm fast enough, I could catch up again and give another wave or say bye again, or I don't know what I was expecting. So I'm running to my bike, running like a tiny marathon to my bicycle, unlocking it. I got really good at that after a while. I was really good at like unlocking my lock. I was like, just grabbed my bike, flipped it around, swung on it, and around the corner. Whoever was looking out the window probably thought I was going insane, but that's okay. I actually didn't catch up. He kind of had a head start already, but man, that guy is speedy on a little bike. He does mountain bike, so I don't know if that had something to do with it, but I'm pretty fast on my bike. People have actually yelled at me on the street before for driving too fast with my bike. Yeah, you can speed on your car, but I've never heard of somebody getting like a speeding ticket on their bike, you know what I'm saying? So either he wanted to get away from me as fast as possible because he just hated my guts, or I don't know, he just really felt guilty about his mom and like kind of sped home. Later I did actually find out that they were leaving for a trip and like going to a completely different country, so maybe it was just that. But yeah, so that was the end of our first date. The funniest part about it, a friend of mine knew about this and she told her friend, who I don't know that well, so like a friend of a friend was sitting there at another table really close to us. I didn't realize it, and she actually took a picture of us and like she sent it to me later, and it was like a little creepy but like kind of fun. So yeah, that was that story for now. I promise it gets better slash worse. Like the story gets better but my whole situation gets worse, which is fine, you know. I'm okay with that now. I'm actually not okay with it, but don't tell him that. So thank you for watching. Subscribe for more, like this video, and bye.